All right, and welcome back, listeners, to the Cheap Chumps podcast. Today is the lovely night of October 9th, and we're just going to get right into it. To my virtual right, once again, it's my main man, Josh. Josh, talk about yourself for a little bit.
Hey, how's it going? I haven't been on the show since episode 0. Is it technically or one?
Episode, I ended up calling it one because then we ended up in the little back scene of things. We were just getting the numbers wrong. That's on me. But yeah, episode one.
Okay, so technically episode 1. It was episode 0 for me until today. Episode 1. I've kind of been busy with life, I haven't been able to get on for any of the previous episodes, but I'm here today.
All right, and to his virtual right, you've heard him. You maybe love him. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Go ahead, George.
I hope people like me. What? Howdy. It's me.
All right, and last but certainly not least, you've heard him just as much before. Ernie.
What's up, guys? I'm glad to be here and appreciate it.
I'm, I'm glad I have him here too.
Martin would never forget you last.
Never. Never.
You're ridiculous.
No,
It's not like we edit something out or anything. Nah, ignore that.
Hey, speaking of edits, I have no segue, but if you recall, some of us that wasn't Josh, so really the other of us, made a prediction on who the final Smash character was going to be. And while I wanted Master Chief and expected more something along the lines of like, I don't remember who I said, but you can go back and listen. And please do, by the way. I was way off the mark. And we all know who it is. It's Sora from Kingdom Hearts himself. And I'm just going to say it right now. Yeah, right. Sora. I was like, who? Never heard of him.
Never heard of her.
Yeah, them. I was genuinely surprised, but not like in the big type of way, like with Sephiroth. It was more just like I didn't think it could ever happen because Disney's a company, Nintendo's a company, greed's a thing. So, it threw me off. But I want to hear what you probably have to say about it, Ernie. And I know you're a Kingdom Hearts fan. I remember.
Yeah, no, definitely not a big Kingdom Hearts fan, but you were really surprised more with Sephiroth than Sora?
Yeah, because like, here's the thing: the way they did the trailer, and they already had a Final Fantasy VII character or a Final Fantasy character, Cloud. And the way these have mostly been is that they just do one and follow suit. The one break from the rule is Simon, but I wouldn't really count that because Richter's just a glorified costume with like one little like different detail with his fire, and I won't get into it. But for otherwise, they've had one. They're just like, all right, you get your one character, move on. So when they announced Sephiroth and the way he did, which was really cool, where he like kills the giant boss in half, and they play his theme song, that iconic song, it just like it blew my mind on multiple levels. Sora, like, there are a bunch of trophies. Mario walks up, he like grabs a fire. For a second, I thought it was Dark Souls, and then
I also thought so.
He throws the Keyblade, and then like Sora flies around, and it's just like, oh, nice, he's here.
Wait,
anyway, give me your money.
Quick thing. I've never played Kingdom Hearts, but doesn't wielding a Keyblade, I think I've read some lore things, doesn't that make you a Keyblade like master or wielder?
That's exactly it.
So canonly, isn't Mario a master?
No, okay. You're going the weird.
Too far.
You're going the Cyrus approach. Being a Keyblade wielder does not immediately make you a master. It's like with Star Wars. You wield you're able to use the Force and wield a lightsaber.
Yeah, but he summoned Sora.
Okay, yeah, but listen. So like,
it was the Keyblade that summoned him, not Mario.
Sora is still, if I recall, I mean, I haven't played Kingdom Hearts 3, but he's still not a master. He just is a wielder, and I remember he like even fails the test. Spoiler, by the way.
I watched some of the lore videos about Kingdom Hearts. I don't understand any of it. Never played the games, but one day maybe I'll play it. I still won't understand.
It's very melodramatic, but like if you really like just take some time, it makes sense. But you have to dedicate way too much time, in my opinion. But we'll get into that later. I just want to say my prediction was wrong. To all of you who disagreed with me and wanted Sora, I'm happy for you. Childhood Marty is super happy. I was a big Kingdom Hearts fan thanks to my aunt, because I remember for my birthday, she got me 1 and 2. And that's all I could really add to it. What about you, Josh?
Wait, you got 1 and 2 at the same time?
Yeah, because they both already existed. And my aunt's a big Disney fan. And it's kind of funny because my my uncle, Ernie himself, is a big Final Fantasy fan, and she wanted to get me the game so she could watch me play them, but she didn't want to play them herself. And well, there you go. I played both of them.
Laura got you that?
Yeah, Laura got me 1 and 2. And in fact, she gave me like a tiny Keyblade that she gave me for my birthday like 4 years ago. Like, she's the reason why I got into Kingdom Hearts. You didn't know this?
Nope, no
It,
clue.
I know it wasn't you because I know you hate it or did hate
No,
it.
I never had a PS2, so I could never play them. So it just kind of like passed me, you know. I was like, I want to go back and I want to play it, but there's so much lore and everyone says it's so convoluted. I'm like, well, it's a lot of.
But Cloud's in it, and I know you love Cloud. He's in
Yeah,
it.
and I've played the Cloud, but he's kind of a bad guy, but Hades manipulating him. I'm torn. I'm torn.
He's got a cool little outfit.
Yeah, he has like it's a very edgy outfit for some reason. But yeah, just I'm excited. I'm excited to see day one combos on Donkey Kong. I know he's gonna have some crazy stage carry. These are all Smash terms, but crazy stage carry with like his short hop Nair 1 or whatever. And finally, it just finally happened. Sora's in Smash Bros. I'm happy for that. However, at the same time in the reveal, they showed or pretty much openly revealed for Square Enix that the whole collection, the whole series of games is coming to the Switch. Kind of exciting, right? You know, for someone like Ernie, probably.
Has never played any of them. It's a good way to get them all on one console.
Well, see, here's the thing. I have Kingdom Hearts 1.5 or 2.5 remakes on the PS4, and I tried playing it again, but I made the mistake of picking the wand, the Mage Boy, and I heard that that's harder. And also, the camera is not kind. I was getting nauseous playing it, and I play games. I don't get nauseous playing games, but for some reason, this camera made me nauseous.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 1 camera isn't great. 2 is a lot better. 2 can make you nauseous for the wrong reasons though, because you can abuse the mechanics of that game. But 1's camera was so as a kid, I guess I didn't mind it because getting games as a kid is kind of hard. But
Yep.
it's not it's not a great camera, and I don't even think they try to fix it 1.5. But to continue on, sorry. So yeah, they're releasing the whole collection. I think by the sounds of it, of Kingdom Hearts 1.5, 2.5, 2.8, that kind of collection to the Switch, and that's fine and all. That means you won't be able to play certain games because of the way the collection works, where like some of them are just glorified movies or cutscenes. But I was reading through this article, inverse.com, and then their title is just Kingdom Hearts Nintendo Switch release date, trailer, and cloud version details. So there's no official release date. They just theorized late 2021 or early 2022 because it is the 20th anniversary celebration. However, the thing that kind of, I don't want to say rubbed me the wrong way, but has me scared is that said, all of these games, and I'm reading the article itself, that said, all of these games are cloud versions of these role playing games that require an internet connection to play. If these revelations and that lack of details during the Smash Bros. Presentation confuse you, we rounded up everything we know about Kingdom Hearts on Nintendo Switch. Move forward past the Smash stuff, and here's how it continues to read. These Kingdom Hearts games are currently slated for Nintendo Switch Kingdom Hearts, the ones I all just mentioned. These games can all be purchased individually or in a bundle called Kingdom Hearts Integrum. And that's just more, details for you. And here's a question they ask. Are the Kingdom Hearts games on Nintendo Switch cloud versions? And it says, yes, they are. Light Control, Guardians of the Galaxy, and more before it. These Kingdom Hearts games won't actually run on Switch natively. Instead, SE, or Square Enix, is partnering with Ubitus to release a cloud version of all Kingdom Hearts titles. Does anyone here know what that means?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, so the way it works is, well, that's what they did with Resident Evil 7, I believe. They tested it with Resident Evil 7 and Control. So the way it is, you essentially buy the game and then you just connect to a server and you just, play through the server. You don't play through your Switch.
Yep, meaning you first of all need internet, and you could suffer like frame rate and input lag just from the server.
Now, what they did when Resident Evil 7 launched, they're like, hey, you can download the demo and play it for like an hour to see if you want to do this, to see if your connection good enough. And then if you liked it, you bought it. If you didn't, you didn't get it. But they gave you at least that opportunity to see how it would run. I don't know if they're doing that with this.
Yeah, so more for I get Ernie just kind of. I'll go ahead and actually throw it to Ernie. What do you think of that, like being a thing for video games in general, not just Kingdom Hearts, but
I think I mean that's going to be the future. Look at xCloud, you look at streaming. That's where everything is going. But some areas don't have the best internet, so it's going to be tough for some people to enjoy the games because it's going to be so slow. They're going to get lag, frame rate issues. Um, so it's good, but I don't think we're there yet.
All right, George, what do you think? And I definitely want to hear from George and Josh because we share the same internet provider and we know how much of a struggle that can be. So, George?
I mean, cloud gaming is not the best. You can look at stuff like Stadia. You can see how well that's been going, for example.
Oh, I kind of it's still alive, isn't it? But I just
Wait, is it?
Yeah.
I also don't
My
know.
brother uses Stadia a lot, and he like lives by it. He gave me a free
Question.
trial for it, and I'm like,
I was gonna say, do they even add any new games, or are they only still like the same 4 or 5 games they got on there?
there are games that come out. Like Borderlands 3 was one that came out
But
after the release of Stadia.
I mean,
So
it's good that. Oh, go ahead, Aaron.
sorry, I was gonna say because you asked earlier, they had their own studios and they got a bunch of big people to make games for them, and then a year in, they're just like, nah, forget it, and they dissolved all their studios, and now everything is just being ported to Stadia. So they're not
Yeah.
making their own games, but they're getting some of the good ones.
Yeah.
Sucks for the people who actually were working on games that were excited, but if hopefully they got compensated at least.
Yeah, so like,
Yeah.
first of all, I didn't know Switch could even do cloud games. Secondly, I'm a
I
little
didn't know that either.
afraid because the Switch isn't known for having great internet just on its own.
Yeah, but cool that's on Switch. Maybe I'll play the games then. But I know about the secret boss fight in one, and I wonder if not having precise inputs is gonna
You
mess
know,
up the
you know
Sephiroth
how
fight.
little that narrows it. Okay, I'm glad you said Sephiroth, and you didn't leave that secret boss fight because spoiler, there's like 5 secret boss fights.
Well, I don't know any. All I know is Sephiroth in one, and they referenced it in the Kingdom Hearts or the Smash Bros. Trailer with Sora. So
Yeah, yeah,
that's the only one I know. I don't know about any others if there are
I
any.
thought that part of the trailer was cool. By the way, was like the nods and references, but like the reveal itself was. But we're past that. Josh, what do you think about this cloud version of Kingdom Hearts coming to Switch?
I don't really trust all this cloud gaming right now. I don't think that our technology is up to snuff at the moment, especially because in our area the internet is always like hit or miss sometimes. Sometimes it's good, and then you'll have a night where your internet just turns off every 5 minutes. I know you've had that problem a little bit, Marty, when you're trying to play some games. You say
Yeah,
boot it off.
and it's weird. That's only been happening recently, so I don't know what happened, but yeah, it happens.
Yeah, and
And like,
then including the Switch's bad internet in the first place, I don't know if it's gonna be good.
yeah, and
I hope it's good because the games are good and I like the games and I hope people get to experience the games because I think they're really fun. If you just like, if for the basic part of just playing games, I think they're fun.
yeah, and I agree with you on all that. It's just what's scary is that Kingdom Hearts is a totally save based game because it was made in a different era. Memory cards, if anybody remembers that. So you have to save.
Yep.
You have to save, and like if you're a couple hours in and your cloud or it might not even be the internet, it could be the server or something just messes up. There's a lot of room for error. Like, what do you do? Are you gonna? Of course, you want to continue, or I assume so, but like that's a couple hours of your life just gone, and you have the benefit of hindsight. But is that I don't know. Cloud gaming, I think it is the future. I don't think we're there yet. I don't think it should be unless they change it, but I don't think it should be like a something that we should be using to port over if that makes like I don't think Kingdom Hearts should be ported this way. Any of the games, by the way.
And yeah, and the more you talk about it, the weirder I think it is because 1 and 2 were on the PS2. Surely the Switch can run the games.
Mm-hmm. They
I,
can.
I understand 3, being PS4 and 360, that probably not going to run it or run it off, very bad. But these are PS2 games. This is so weird.
Also, you said 360, Xbox 360.
Oh, Xbox One. Sorry, I get confused. So many numbers, so many ones.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so like, if they like added an autosave, that instills a little bit more to me. But like, Kingdom Hearts 3, you still save, right, Josh? Being the one guy who I know has played it in here.
Yes, you do save.
Yeah, so like that's just scary to me. I would not buy it on my Switch. Excluded I own them on my PS4, but like if I wasn't and I wanted to and I knew a thing or two about gaming and heard about that, like I would rather save my money.
Speaking of saving, there's a part in Kingdom Hearts 3 specifically where I kind of got tired of it, where I didn't want to play anymore, so I just turned off the game, thinking that we were in the future. And when I went back to the game, I had to do everything up until that point that I didn't save to.
I
That
hate
just
that so
sucked.
much.
Oh, that sounds like fun. Maybe they'll fix it in Kingdom Hearts 4, which was apparently in the Nvidia leak. Shout out to episode 1. You should go watch that too. I'm gonna keep plugging the podcast today. In our own podcast.
We run a podcast?
Yeah, it's crazy, right? We have
Oh,
one.
meta.
But yeah, so first of all, glad for all Kingdom Hearts fans. Glad for Switch owners who are Kingdom Hearts fans and they probably sold their PS4 or something. Glad for Smash Kingdom. Just glad for a lot of fans. I'll end it on that high note. Moving on, before we get to our big topic, there was a big data breach of Twitch itself. I think they're just Twitch.tv. I'm sure the company just called Twitch, but I almost feel like I have to call them Twitch Studios for some reason. But there was a big data breach that revealed like payouts and stuff like that in terms of like at least the top streamers, probably every streamer, but like I don't think the hackers much cared about Johnny or Billy, who like stream on a Sunday sometimes.
I love Billy.
Yeah, he's my favorite streamer too. Don't get me wrong, but like I don't think that's what the people want to see. And what's really weird is that like didn't Facebook earlier in the week or like not too long before this data breach have a big server error or something where like a big part of the routing got deleted and that's why like Facebook was off and like delayed. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So what? But yes, it was off for 6 hours. It was an internal issue. There's some guy uploaded bad code or like a little error, and everything just crashed from internally. And the reason why it was done for so long because a lot of people are working remotely, and people who would normally just fix it, they weren't in the office and they couldn't log in to fix it. So, yeah, they had a couple of bypass securities and redundancies that just failed, and yeah.
Oh, now I know. I was a part of me was wondering if this was related, but I guess not. But here's the Twitch list. I'm just gonna read like a couple at least top 20. This is the whole list of their payout from August 2019 and October to 2021, and I'll give my thoughts after. So number 1, you have Critical Role. Number 2, XQC. Number 3, Summit 1G. 4, Tfue. 5, Nick Merckx. They all made 5 million or above. Now the next 10 made about 2.5 to 3.2 million, and then the next 10 made about 2 million in of itself. That's all fine and dandy. From August 2019 and October 2021 makes a lot of sense, especially being up there in the millions. If you keep going on, though, the numbers kind of stay between 2 million and under up until 82, where it breaks underneath the million mark. And the reason I kind of want to bring this up is because the drop from number 100, TSM Imperial How, shout out to him. If you somehow hear this, you're really good at Apex. Invite me to your team someday, just for games. And 21, or to number 21, is Critical Role. And for those who don't know who Critical Role is, it's a group of like voice actors who just do D&D and other like miscellaneous things. And this is kind of crazy for me when looking at this payout, because like I stream sometimes and I happen to know a lot about Twitch culture and how things work, what shouldn't. Like, we all know poggers that came from Twitch. Believe it or not, you don't just go into a random stream and like start posting poggers though, because
That'd
that's
be
not
kind of Monka-esque.
Yeah, see, exactly. George gets it too. People laugh and all that. But it really is just crazy to me that the number 1 spot on Twitch, which Twitch was pretty much made to almost be exclusively just a gaming platform, or at least evolve to that Critical Role, the people that just like play D&D live, is the number 1 spot. And I want to ask you guys, do you think it's accredited to the fact that it's a bunch of voice actors like Matt Mercer, Laura Bailey, and these big names, or do you think it's really because it's their personality and stuff. And I'm not saying they're cardboard cutouts. They have personality, but
I think,
are you guys understanding my question here?
yeah, I think it's a mixture of that. It's like they're well known, but then Matt Mercer's such a well known DM within, I guess, the D&D community. He makes fantastic stories, and then everyone else, just plays the characters and whatnot. It's pretty good. I mean, for me personally, I don't really care about what they earn. I mean, I just care about the content that they bring out. If someone's interested to watch, I'll watch them. If not, then I just don't watch them. Suppose that.
And what
But
about
also,
you? Oh,
oh,
go
really,
on.
really quick, Martin. I think before the show we were talking about like the numbers and looking at it. This is just their payout directly, so it doesn't include donations, sponsors, merch, or anything else of that matter.
There we
So it's
go. So they're
base.
making a lot.
Yeah, so this is basically based on subs, like just flat out. Doesn't include anything else.
There we go. So and there we go. Just to add more to that, that really is a lot of money throughout 2 years, almost 10 mil. Josh, what do you have to as a response to my question?
I think they're at the number one spot because, well, they're voice actors and stuff like that. They know how to really play a character really well, like really get into their emotions. And I think people really like to watch that. Like
That's fair.
it's like they're watching like a show or something.
That is fair. And let me add this one thing because I know I said like number 1 through 5. Number 1 is 9.6 million. The number 2 spot is less than 1.2 million, which I know when you're already talking those big numbers, it already feels like, oh, what's another 1.2 million? But that's really a lot between number 1 and number 2. Not to mention 2 to 3 is a 300 million difference, just about.
That's a big drop.
Yeah. Well,
Go.
I was gonna answer your question. I don't think it has anything to do with Laura Bailey or Matt Mercer with them with the crew, who they are, because if you know who they are, that is a small circle. If you go ask any your friends, your cousins, your relatives, they're not gonna know who Laura Bailey is. That's if you know, and that's a very small circle. I think they're incredibly talented, and just through their content alone, I think it's a great show, and they're fantastic at what they do, and that's how they're number one. I don't think it's the same recognition at all. That definitely helps, but not 10 million.
It's the talent.
Yeah.
The talent's really there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and I would.
mean,
Sorry,
they
go
are
on.
making like aren't they making like a lot like an animated show based off Critical Role?
I'm sure I've heard something like that. I don't know how real that is.
I'm pretty sure they are doing that. I'm not sure if it's I'm not sure if I saw it on like crowdfunded or whatnot, but I'm pretty sure.
I think I heard something about that,
I'm gonna quickly look this up.
but I never really click on those kind of articles. Kind of just skim them, look at the title, go on.
So I'm gonna do some basic math, and I know like this isn't in any way of a correlation, but and I agree with 30 because like they're not super well known. That being said, if I were to argue anything, I think Matt Mercer's the number 1 most recognized voice actor probably just ever.
Right. You're right, but how big is that pool? The number one voice actor.
64K followers on Twitter. Big,
Wait,
so.
I was
How
right.
many-
Sorry, really quick. It's called Critical Role: The Legend of Vox Machina. That is the animated show that they made.
Nice. We might talk about it at some point, but not to stray too far from topic. So a Twitch sub is about $5. So let's imagine that it's just Matt Mercer's crew watching. Again, a lot of people like Sam Lerner and others, but 764,000 times 5. Pull that up on my calculator. That's $3.8 million right there.
You have to take into account that Twitch takes half of a sub, so it's really they're earning $2.50 per.
Yeah. Well, like I'm glad we're on this. I'm glad we're on this topic of like notoriety because number 2 is XQCOW, who is a more recent streamer in terms of all the years Twitch has been around because he started streaming when Overwatch came out. That's why OW is in his name, and Twitch doesn't really let you change your name unless you just start a whole new account. And he's 1.2 million lower, and this is kind of where my own personal opinion comes out. XQC is really nothing more than a scream edgy lord guy. I don't really think he's all that entertaining other than having really bad takes on just things in general. I mean, there's a reason why he kind of kept getting what's the word? Not banned. When you get timed out, in sports, what's it called,
Suspended?
Renee? Suspended. There's a reason why he kept getting suspended in the Overwatch League because he just like had a mouth that like didn't know how to shut it, and like did all kinds of things that just like there's a rule book. But yeah, and then eventually he just I think it was just a mutual agreement to have him kicked out, and he left. But this man's making 8.4 million, and I feel that is probably he might be entertaining to some. If you're entertained by him, you're entertained by him, and that's whatever. I'm not gonna say your taste in entertainment is poor. I enjoy stand-up comedy, so there's a lot of jokes in there. But XQC is not so much on the level of Critical Role in terms of content value, I think. And 1.2 million is a gap, if that makes sense. If you guys understand the point I'm trying to get here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so XQC, congrats to you. That being said, if you look at other names, Tyler One, we all know him. He's the one who makes the memes with like the bald head, and
Fellow monkey boy.
yeah, he's a big league streamer. Moon, I find funny, but he's also like the kind of rager type of person. Asmongold is on here, and I don't know anything about Asmongold.
I was gonna say like, who here like watches like streamers like regularly or somewhat?
From time to time, it's nice to eat.
I wanted to ask like from this list, not based on the numbers, like what are some of the streamers that like you enjoy watching that are on this list, for example?
Moon. That's it. That's all I can name.
What about you, Josh? You have any? I know you've been watching Asmongold.
Who else is on the list besides Asmongold?
I'm not about to name all 100 people, but Pokemon is on here.
Well, I can tell you that I watch Asmongold, and I'm pretty sure that's probably the only one on the list that I
Maximilian, dude.
Yeah, Maximilian is on there. Dude.
Well, there's another one I watched. I literally watched him the other day.
Admiral
Not for
Baru.
a long time.
Admiral Baru is on here. You know what's weird?
Yeah, Admiral Baru is one of my favorite streamers.
What's weird is that Rocket League is on here. Like, Rocket League. Yeah, at number 61.
Huh.
How does that work?
Well, if you stream on Twitch, people can still sub to you. They probably won't read your name in between streams, but whenever they host tournaments, I imagine they get subs.
Another creator we all probably know, Moist Critical or Charlie.
I watch his YouTube videos. Whatever he streams is it's hit or miss.
I mean, I just enjoy his content. I think he's pretty cool, dude.
Yeah, but like KWars 3030, I used to watch him.
Dude, I used to watch his Black Ops like videos back in the day. I've not seen his stuff since.
8-Bit Drummer was another person whose videos I watch. Imperial How is really like the one active person I watch that I don't really just prefer to go to their videos. So there's that. But if there's anybody here who uses Twitch less than me, it's Ernie. Or understands Twitch less than me. I remember we once had a talk about it, and you like told me that you just straight up do not understand why Twitch is what it is.
No, I understand, and I'm gonna play a game. I'm not gonna watch someone else play it. That's just how I feel.
That's fair. I mean, but some people like to, they like to enjoy like, oh, I wonder how this person plays this game, this certain way, just to compare, I guess, because or it's like when you watch a friend play a game, it's like you're wondering like how they're gonna play the game. Like sometimes it's more about watching them react and see how they do, where you know what's gonna come up.
It's like you want to see what their reaction is to your favorite part of something.
Yeah,
to get the same emotional responses you did.
Or if they're just entertaining, like just play a game, they make it entertaining. Like there's some like Emerald Baru, like I watched him play so much like XCOM 2 that made me want to play it. I never really understood it. I still gotta go back and finish it, but I just like to watch his streams. It's just very entertaining.
Yeah, I mean it's fine. It's fine, if you dig it, if you're into it. It's just not for me.
Yeah, it's fair, understandable.
Yep, but I think that's all the time we have for that. I mean, I just wanted to point it out as gamers, it is great that all these people get this money from playing video games.
That's the life.
Time to be alive.
Still funny that number one is a D&D group,
which is pretty cool.
Great for them. But it's just
D&D group with amazing talent. I've seen a few of their clips, and they really get into it.
Yeah, well, I mean, if the voice has the game they've been on, dude. They've been on so much stuff. Laura Bailey alone.
They've made their D&D characters like an actual thing, and like, you gotta watch it yourself to understand. It's
Yeah.
good.
From
And this
what
is a
I've heard-
podcast. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I was gonna say from what I heard, you want to start in season 2 because things might get complicated in season 1. Because apparently, from a
All right, don't hit me with that Kingdom Hearts stuff right now.
no, from
Yes,
from what I
yes.
heard, it from a friend, season 1 they were like somewhat into their campaign, so it's not like all completely started out. But I heard if you ever want to start in season 2.
Okay, well, I will look into that later, but right now I want to look into this Resident Evil trailer. So I'm just gonna go ahead and come out and say it. I am already liking the look of this way much more than any of the Anderson movies, and I'm sure Paul Anderson, I think that's his name, right? I didn't butcher
Yes.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure he's a great guy. Do not get me wrong. However, I'm not the biggest fan of his work in any kind of way.
I mean, I watched the first one. It was entertaining.
It's so bad. It's good.
This Resident Evil looks like it's the most influenced by the games that any Resident Evil movie live action has ever been.
Yes and no. And before we get into that, I just want to say for those who haven't watched it, take this moment to go watch it right now so you can understand a little bit better. It's not really a spoiler because it's just a trailer. But if you're a Resident Evil fan, specifically of 1, 2, and I think potentially the third game, this might be for you. And with that, I will continue. So it opens up with like, what's her name? I just blanked. I had it and I forgot. Chris's sister, Chris and Claire. Chris and Claire. Starts off with them and they talk about, and Claire, I guess, is this big, I'm forgetting all my words today. I am so sorry. This big, theorist?
Reporter?
No, like, what's the word?
Conspiracy theorist?
Conspiracy theorist, thank you. Where she's this big conspiracy theorist about Umbrella and all that. I know there's only like 2.5 games with Claire and like some movies or whatever, like cartoon movies. But was Claire ever the type to be like this weird, like conspiracy theorist kind of reporter person, or I thought she was just nothing more than a college chick who just like happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time?
I think it was just a. Oh, sorry, Rena, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, well, I mean, it might be jumping to conclusions, but when Resident Evil 2 starts, she's looking for her brother.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah,
but sorry, Josh, George, but she doesn't say like, oh, she doesn't have a tinfoil hat. She doesn't say this and that and that. She just, hey, my brother's missing. What's going on?
Yeah, from like I've never played the original 2, but I played like remastered, and from what I remember, she never like gave off like a conspiracy theorist or journalist like vibe. She was just looking for her brother. That was about it, and then she just meets up with Leon.
Yeah, which I'm sure they'll play into it because again, this movie looks like it's going to cover 1, 2, and 3 in a way, and it just none of it ever felt like that. But that's what they're going for, and clearly Claire's going to be the central playing role. I know, as odd as that sounds, they chose her because it's something about the Resident Evil movies and having a female heroine, I think, is what it is. And don't get me wrong, all power to female or male heroes, heroines. I don't really genuinely care as long as the character played well. But something about Resident Evil, they just really go like, well, the female might pull at hearts, and they just go, all right, that's fine. But like, I would love it if Leon or Chris was at the center of the action.
Leon would have been a cool main character. I really like him.
Maybe, but like Leon really has no ties to one. He just appears.
I'd be okay with him appearing in the movie. Hey, I am the main character.
Claire doesn't have any ties to one either.
Well, yeah, one big one. Her brother.
Her brother.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Really, it should follow Chris then. But
it should follow Chris, but Chris is absent from Raccoon City. So, but then you can't make it follow Jill Valentine because Jill she's around technically in 2 and 3, but like she doesn't know what Claire and Leon are doing. They're just happen to be in the same city.
Jill's in 1 and 3. She's not in 2.
Well, but like the way 3 is played out, it's supposed to be
during.
I feel like maybe this would be better as a series than the movie, but then again, the movie hasn't came out, so can't really comment on it.
It comes out really soon. They showed this trailer and they're like next month. By the way, I was like, where?
Oh, really?
Yeah, November 23rd. Like, there's like, hey, movie, it's coming.
If it's not gonna be the streaming service, I won't be able to watch it. But you're gonna be
They said
too busy playing.
exclusively in theaters.
Oh well, that's too bad. We'd be too busy playing Final Fantasy 14 and Walker expansion. So
All right, well, it's not like it only comes out on one day. Oh, I lied. 24th, November 24th.
Way off.
nah, so we're playing. Never mind.
I'm sure
Again,
you'll be done with the story by then.
Yeah, you
we'll
play
see.
that. You play the game every day. Don't tell me you're wrong.
I mean, I do boot it up.
George, when Shadowbringers came out, I went to Anime Expo.
Yeah, and there were some people there with buttons. It's like, I really wish I was at home playing Shadowbringers right now, button, which was funny. They didn't mean anything by it, but it was just like a funny meme I saw.
The game will always be there, and they're pretty good about not spoiling it. But not to get
Yeah.
off track. So, yeah, and the casting choices I don't think are bad. I'm just again more afraid of the director because playing Claire is Kaya School. I'm gonna butcher this so bad. Scudelario. And then Avin Jogia plays Leon S. Kennedy. And for those who don't know who that is, because not everyone here remembers actors' names, he played Beck in Victorious, if that's like the best thing I can name. Or he was in Zombieland 2. He was like the anti-gun weird hippie that the Woody Harrelson's character like looked at him and said, "You're gonna die first, kid, but I like your enthusiasm."
I was wondering why his face was so familiar.
Same, I was like,
From
who is this?
Yeah. So he's in both of those. Hannah John Kamen is probably most recently famous for being in Ant-Man and the Wasp as the Ghost.
Dude, she's in a ton of
Oh.
stuff.
Yeah, and she is in a ton of stuff, but I'm saying the biggest I'm gonna say Ant-Man and the Wasp is the biggest recent thing, at least most like recognizable.
Wait,
And
you guys
she's-
want to hear a funny thing? That's the only Marvel movie I haven't seen yet.
that is funny. Go watch it right now. Stop recording. Go watch it.
We'll wait. Go ahead.
Just
Go.
leave.
Get out of here.
I'll watch it Sunday when I'm
What
off.
are you doing? But Hannah John Kamen is casted as Jill Valentine. Interesting, I'll just say, because I know she's like British. I mean, she could do English accents, but just I never would have looked at her and just been like, yeah, she'd be a great Jill Valentine. Robbie Amell's playing Chris Redfield. He's not jacked enough. That's my one complaint.
I think his face, can pull off Chris, but his body isn't.
His body does not. Yes,
He needs to be a little bigger. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Yeah.
Chris Redfield wasn't jacked in 1 and whatever. He was jacked in 5.
He
and
was
so
jacked-
on.
Yeah, that's true. But then he like lost muscle. 7 was a game. But yeah, no, he does look like a great Chris. Jokes aside. All right, and playing the role of Albert Wesker is Tom Hopper. I've never heard of him. I'll be honest. Then again, I don't know every actor. But I will
I
say
can tell you the
that
most recent
I
things
will
he's
say.
done.
Don't worry,
Oh.
George. I will say
Okay.
that I don't know if he'd look like a great Albert. Go on.
The most noble things he's known for, he was Dick and Tarly in Game of Thrones, and
I didn't
Billy
watch that.
Bones in Black Sails, and
I
he was
didn't
also on.
I didn't watch either of those. I'll
Me
be honest.
either.
He was also in Umbrella Academy.
Nice.
Umbrella what?
Umbrella Academy.
Never heard of it.
It's a
Neil-
Really?
It's a TV series. You should watch it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Neil McDonough is playing William Birkin. For those who don't know who William Birkin is, well, you'll just have to watch the movie because that's just spoilers. But William Birkin, and I'm sure you've all seen Neil McDonough. I just shared a picture of him in Slack, but like, you would never know his name. So why you guys
Yes.
are taking the time? Or sorry, go on.
I've seen his. He's a good actor.
Yeah,
That's all I
but
can say.
I've never known his name ever in my life.
Me neither did I until today, literally,
Yeah.
when I looked up the cast of Resident Evil.
Nathan Dales is playing Brad Vickers. Holly DeBarros is playing Sherry Birkin, so they're gonna have the little girl. Holly DeBarros though sounds familiar, and if somebody could do me a quick favor, look up what she's been in, and then get back to me. And then the last biggest name that I could tell you right now is Janet Porter is playing Annette Birkin. So again, this is why I feel they're gonna do 1, 2, and part of 3 because there's no Nemesis listed. On the other hand, Nemesis could just be a giant CGI mess. I don't know.
Marty.
Mm-hmm.
Holly DeBoris was in Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City.
Thanks.
That's it.
No, she was also in The Good Witch in this year.
The good. Witch. Oh,
Good, not just Good Witch. Sorry.
okay, I thought from the
That's
sound of it. From the sound of it, I thought she was gonna be the chick who's playing Tiny Tina, but I am wrong about that. So never mind. But yeah, with that kind of cast lined up, I am excited. I think it could do well. I think it could do better than the Paul Anderson films. Oh, and I almost forgot the director is Johannes Roberts. Um, I don't know a whole lot about him. In fact, I'm looking up like movies he's done right now. Uh, 47 meters down. Somebody probably knows about that movie.
Oh, it
Storage
was freaky,
24.
man.
Was it? It just looks like a shark movie.
Yeah, so they fall down in the cage breaks, and then there's sharks circling them, and they're running out of oxygen. They got to get out, but there's too many sharks, and you're 47 meters down in the ocean.
Did you know that they made a sequel to that? Apparently, 2 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I
So
went straight to DVD though.
I wouldn't be surprised. A lot of shark movie sequels do. Storage 24 and Dark Hunters. He has a couple others, but I'm pretty sure none of you have heard of Hellbreeder or Alice or Forest of the Damned or just F. The movie's called F, the letter.
Pay respects.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
Thank you.
So I don't know. He doesn't really have the largest directorial debut, and that's not to some people find the rise, and I'm hoping this could be it for him, as I am hopeful with everybody. But you know what? I'm just asking, do better than Paul Anderson, especially after the first Resident Evil. I think it'll be okay. And Capcom is clearly not afraid of giving out the Resident Evil title for movies, so they'll probably give him a sequel anyway.
I was just gonna say those movies, like original Resident Evil movies, are so bad that they're just fun to watch. They're just fun bad movies. But
Yeah, maybe like the first two after the first one. Actually, the first one's not great, but like it just kind of gets dumb if that makes sense.
Well, I mean, they're
sometimes
not
you just wanna
Resident
watch. Yeah.
they're not Resident Evil movies. They're just like zombie movies with like, oh, and then Umbrella. Oh, it's officially a Resident Evil movie because it said Umbrella.
And sometimes like a Resident Evil character pops in and equally out, like Leon Kennedy and like Barry.
I was gonna say, like, that's why you just ignore the part Resident Evil. Just imagine you're watching a regular zombie flick or something, and then you're like, oh yeah.
If I recall, I think Barry dies in like the fifth Resident Evil movie. I guess, yeah, I think he just dies, but like it's just my problem with those movies. I'll just go ahead and lash it out now. Is that characters come in and out of existence on will. Jill and Chris and like a big part of the Resident Evil crew are in the second one. In the first one, I don't think a single Resident Evil character is in touch at all. I think it's all original characters. But the second one, they throw all of them at you, including Nemesis, and then they explain like, oh, Nemesis was like this chick's husband or whatever. Now he's Nemesis, and now he feels like a human. I'm like, what? And that's fine. And then in the third one, it's super post-apocalyptic that they're driving through the desert of California, and like all of the world is fucked. And Claire is there for some reason, no explanation. I don't even think she talks about her own brother. And then the fourth one, I think Leon returns or something, and they're like characters are so easily willed in and out, just for the sake of getting that reaction of just like, look, it's Leon, and then you move on with your life. So that's my gripe.
So I feel the same way about the Joker movie. I thought the Joker movie was a really good movie. It didn't need to be called Joker. It didn't need to be a Batman superhero movie. But they just say like, oh, it's a Joker. Come watch it. Blah blah blah. Again, I like the movie. It was good, but it could have just been called, Lonely Depressed Guy. And it didn't need that Batman tie-in because there was no Batman tie-in other than names. But marketing.
That's fair. That being said, as I'm like looking through the trailer again, Silent, you could tell they're trying to heavily pay homage to the movie. Like they even have that one scene where they first come across a zombie and he like turns his head slowly. Like they're paying homage. Scene. Yeah, it's a very iconic scene. They're paying heavy homage. Like Jill Valentine, and what I can tell about the movie for sure is that they're really hard focusing on the experiments of Umbrella, which like sounds like whatever we know about the T-virus and Nemesis, but even going deeper into looking into like I'm not gonna remember her name, so all you hardcore RE fans can shoot me whenever you see me. But Alice, I think from Resident Evil 1, the remake, was a very fan favorite character. Ernie probably knows what I'm talking about. When you go into that one rundown cabin house and there's like the really messed up deformed lady with like handcuffs on who's like reacts to sound. You know what I'm talking about?
Resident Evil 1?
Yeah, in Resident Evil 1, but the remake exclusively. Like she was not in the original.
No, I'm trying to wasn't Alice the the little girl in Resident Evil, the one after 3, with the one with Claire. What was that called? Was she on that island?
I'm gonna look up Resident Evil Alice, but maybe no. Alice is the name of the movie character.
No. Alice was in Resident Evil. It's not just a random name. All right, unless I'm making that up.
No, it apparently she's only the only thing the Resident Evil wiki itself gives me, so I'm trusting this is the what they call the Anderson universe, and it's only Mila Jovovich. Let me start over. Only Mila Jovovich's character. So I don't know who I'm talking about, but I'm gonna look up a.
You just have a weird fever dream.
Yeah, I know who I'm talking about. List of Resident Evil villains. In the meantime, I'm just gonna throw this over to you, Josh, in hopes of what you want for this movie.
I have no, I don't have any idea of what I want from this movie. I just want it to be a good movie. I want a good Resident Evil movie for once in my life. That's all I really care about.
But what if it's so bad it's good?
Then it'll be good to watch once, just like the original Resident Evil movies by Mr. Anderson. Is he called?
Or how about this? What if it's
Yeah.
really campy, but it doesn't seem to be campy? But what if it was more campy than we thought?
Campy? What do you mean by campy?
I don't know. Best way I can explain is fucking what's the best way to put it? Like some of the OG Batman films, Michael Keaton and whatnot, like campy like that. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's just comic booky type of stuff. That's campy.
Comic booky campy?
Have you never heard the term campy?
No, never.
Wow.
You're the first person that's ever said that to me in my life.
Really?
Let me add in. Yeah, I've never heard of that either.
Is it because you're old, George?
Oh no, yeah, I guess it's an old guy thing because Santa Maria.
Wait,
I've never heard
wait, you know?
Yeah,
So
I know what you're saying. Yeah, like campy.
So you get what I mean, but what,
yeah,
Josh,
Yeah,
you're not
'cause
that much younger than me.
You're both old. I don't know what campy means.
Wait, Josh, you're not that much younger than me.
I'm only a year younger than you. But the joke is that you're 40.
What? Wait, so you're 26?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were 25 or something.
No, I'm 26.
Well.
You're old.
Anyways, back on topic.
I'm just more amazed. Hey, never mind. We're gonna move past this.
So yeah, campy. Never heard of it. I don't know.
I take out campy and put in cheesy. Cheesy fun.
Cheesy fun. So the original Resident Evil movies, they're kind of cheesy and fun in a dumb way.
That's basically what campy is, but yeah. Except
I want them to shy away from the original Resident Evil movies. I don't want it to feel like the same thing.
Okay, so not make it too cheesy then. How about that?
Yeah. Maybe I want it to take itself somewhat seriously. Just enough for me to be interested.
My biggest problem with the trailer is I like the look, the feel, which is big on that's what Resident Evil is. It's very moody, very spooky. I just feel like they're cramming too much in. You're gonna put 1 and 2 and parts of 3 in there. Come on, that's a lot. It's just gonna be I don't want it to feel rushed or.
I don't want it to end up like Spider-Man 3, the Sam Raimi movie.
Exactly.
Where there's just too much stuff. They just go through everything too fast. Nothing gets enough limelight that it needs.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be bad.
That's my biggest concern with that movie.
Looking at the trailer, it looks like they're having a lot of stuff in there. I was kind of hoping they would focus on one plot line. It looks like they're going to have multiple. And by multiple, I mean a lot of multiple storylines going on at once.
To be kind of fair to it, all the story happens one right after the other with 1, 2, and 3. 4 is the one that jumps, but 1, 2, and 3 are all meant to take place pretty just boom, boom, boom.
No, isn't the mansion month? No, it happens pretty fast right after.
It's pretty fast.
Yeah,
it's a month at most. But after the mansion outbreak, shit hits the fan. In terms of the world.
Yeah, but in that month, what happens?
A zombie has to take its time to walk.
That's true.
A lot of them don't run.
And edit. The game I was talking about was called Code Veronica, and the little girl's name is not Alice; it's Alexa. I played it a long time ago.
And the character I was thinking of, her name is Lisa Trevor.
Lisa Trevor.
Lisa Trevor, and she's this really gross thing, and I can just link you this for anyone else who wants to read up on it. But it looks like with what they're doing, and one specific character kind of looked like Lisa Trevor, was that I think they're focusing on the experience that come out, and Lisa Trevor to me, random moment, but Lisa Trevor to me is a very interesting character in RE lore, because like she seems to retain her memories. In fact, the only thing she looks for, and the whole point is that like she wanders the mansion grounds looking for her family, and she can also insecure, and she's like the one thing that doesn't die. Like you can make her collapse, but she never dies. And I'm glad. I should be glad. I'll wait till the movie comes out that they're gonna cover this type of side stuff about these other characters, but like it's the same fear of like they're doing 1 and 2, and they might not give certain characters enough limelight, and just might be going for the factor of like it's Leon. Look at him. He's here on his first day. Oh man, Leon has to fight zombies now. That sucks. Like they just might do that if that makes sense.
I hope that doesn't happen. This is a cool character.
Looking at Lisa Trevor, I remember her, but she wasn't. I just kind of ran her past her, and I never fought her. I don't think I ran into her again.
There's like a weird puzzle type of thing where you can lead her to her mother's coffin. It's like a boss fight, and then like she topples the coffin over and falls into abyss, presumably dying, but it never really says if she does or doesn't. So maybe the movie might answer that for me, and I'll be like, cool, that's under my belt. But Lisa Trevor, if you look at the trailer, there's like one character that kind of looks like what this is supposed to be, and I'm curious if
she look like a Lisa. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, she looks like a Lisa. But yeah, so I mean, that's all I think I can talk about the movie for now. George, any lasting thoughts? I don't think you've played a Resident Evil. I'm not too sure, but
the second remastered, and I think a bit of 3. That's really about it.
Did they make a remaster of 2, or was it the remake?
It was the remake.
Remake I meant, but yeah.
Only 1 got remastered. 0 too. I lied. 0 got remastered.
Yeah, I eventually want to go back and like finish the series, but I'm currently playing the whole Final Fantasy series.
I think they made an HD release of Code Veronica, didn't they?
It was ported to the PS5. I mean PS2 because it was originally
Sega Dreamcast.
Yeah, and then it got the PS5. Really, you guys haven't played any of the Resident Evil games?
I played the remake of 2. I played 1. I played the original 3. Nemesis.
Yeah, Nemesis.
4, 5. I did not play 6, and I played a little bit of 7.
I was gonna say, I hope you're not asking. I just dropped my phone, so if you could hear that, whoops. But hope you're not asking me if I played Resident Evil, because you know I did.
No, it's these guys. I think the only ones I haven't played mainline Resident Evil. I haven't played Village, and I haven't played Zero.
Zero's annoying because you got to control 2 characters, but like the world continues to happen, and certain boss fights really try to like dig into that mechanic, but it just makes it hard unnecessarily. Like there's no real challenge; it's just a challenge of the mechanic. That's another Marty rant moment. That's my least favorite thing. I'll keep it short. Where the challenge becomes just the mechanics of the game and not really anything new at you. And that's just what I dislike about boss fights that try to abuse that. But however, Resident Evil movie, giving it a shaky thumbs up. Hope it's good. We only have a trailer. I trust in the actors at least, not so much the director. And maybe we should talk about the Resident Evil movie last. But to end on a kind of sad but like appreciative note, I'll go ahead. Yeah, hopeful. I'll just go ahead and say that it is officially confirmed, at least according to Kotaku, and it was kind of circulating, so I assume it's true, or they just
about PC Gamer and some other news outlets as well.
Yeah, a bunch of them.
Yeah, the Yakuza creator confirms he's leaving Sega. Former series producer joins him. Both Toshihiro Nagoshi and Daisuke Sato are leaving the studio they helped establish 10 years ago. Again, from Kotaku. And I don't play Yakuza, but I understand the big impact it's had just even on the world in its own way, especially gamers, where just like Bakamitai was a song that was memed for a while and just well appreciated by all kinds of people who never played Yakuza. Again, myself, got a nice kick out of it, and it's a really nice song. And my own Yakuza experience really comes from Project X Zone 2. I remember seeing Kiryu and Majima. I don't if I
Goro
hope
Majima.
yeah, I don't.
Majima.
I remember their names because I thought they were really cool. But they're like playable characters in Project X Zone, and just I thought they were cool looking. You know, they definitely gave off this Yakuza gangster vibe, and I'm just gonna throw it over to the big Yakuza fans. George, Ernie, one of you, would you like to?
Yeah.
Oh.
You want to go first, then, Aaron?
No, you go. You play. I've only played one game.
Okay, so I would really recommend playing the series. I regret not playing these as a kid, but as a kid, didn't have money to play games, and I think I saw it once on like G4. I think it was like Yakuza, like Dead Souls, something like the spinoff, and I was like, oh, this looks cool, but I was like, I'm not sure if I would like it, but man, I wish I played these as a kid. I think like I first started playing Yakuza 0, and then I still have to play 3, 4, 5, but I played them all except 7. But I've seen people play it enough where I know the story and I will play it. But having Nagoshi and Sato just leaving their it kind of sucks. But they are both they both left some statements where they're basically like leaving it to the team, and I don't know if you guys have seen the picture of the team, but they definitely look like they're from the Yakuza, which is pretty cool. Like they got that energy.
I now have a headcanon that they're all just Yakuza men that they hired.
Yeah.
Let me also throw in before we go further is that I forgot to read off from the article where they are leaving both Sega and his own being Nagoshi's studio, his own Ryuga Katoku studio. And so
Yeah.
they're like it's not just Sega. It's not like they're separating from Sega. They're just out of there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and they're leaving the hands to the team, and also apparently the guy who's gonna be the head, I guess, of Yakuza is going to be what was his name? Ryuta Ueda. He's gonna handle I guess, head of studio, and also, I guess, the looking over the series of Yakuza. And
Yeah.
he's worked on both the first and like the original Yakuza 1 and Yakuza 2, not the remasters of like Kiwami 2, which those are remasters, but of
Yeah.
the first and second.
Which let me before I move on and ask my questions from outside looking in, Ernie, what do you have to say about it?
I agree a lot with what George said. I've listened to other people, other podcasts, and they talk about like, oh, just play these games. They're so good. They're so good. But there's so much lore. I'm like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. So then,
It's worth it.
yeah, I read that somewhere that Like a Dragon it's a different gameplay style. It's a new character, so you don't have all that baggage. So I saw it on sale one day, so I bought it, and oh my god, it is becoming one of my favorite series ever. It is so good. So let me ask you this, Marty. Like, why do you like the Persona games?
I was actually going to kind of chime in with this is that Persona games it's a mix of a couple things. I guess I do like meeting the characters and just like seeing their quirks and stuff about them. Some of them fall a little flat, but in general they're always an enjoyable cast. It really depends on which one you play. But I just love meeting them and I think the combat is pretty well done that I don't think it has to be reinvented. It's like one of those to me kind of deals with like Pokemon or I can't say the same for Final Fantasy because they differ from game to game, but like where they
Pretty
have
much
this
turn-based.
they have this system. I would not say FF14 is turn based.
Well, okay, previous. Okay, not the obviously MMOs, but anyway.
Yeah,
15 not turn based.
I was gonna say
so.
15 is not. Yeah.
Okay, everything before 14 and 11.
What about
Yeah.
tactics?
I don't know about 13 either.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 13 isn't either.
13
Actually,
is like the first one is like tries to be heavily turn based. I saw some gameplay of the others and it like devolves further.
Everything before 10. How about that?
What about
Better?
11?
That's another. Like I said, 10 before. Or there we go.
What about FF7 remake? That's technically
Okay, that's like the original. Now you're going to semantics.
Yeah, let me just go ahead and add that like it also has that Pokemon feeling for me that no matter what, it's gonna feel almost always the same. They'll add or maybe change a few things, some balance things, but like there's always the set like wind, ice, elemental weaknesses. You get new personas, make new ones. So it's really a mix of that for me. Now let me turn it back to you and ask you, why would you ask me that question?
Because my favorite thing about the Persona games is how well the characters are developed, whether you like them or not. They have their quirks, like you said, and when they do something like when they do something dumb or silly, you're not like, well, that's not right. They're like, yeah, I can see that guy doing that. I could see, you know, you know, busting, what's it, Yusuke's balls. You know, it's very on brand. They make a character, they develop a character, and it's done very well. And I think Yakuza does that, and it does it better.
In
And
spades.
yeah, and I feel like it does it better because one, they're not kids, so they can react a little bit more adult. They could say some dirty jokes, um,
Yeah.
and it's not like, well, I do like what that Persona does the whole day thing. Like, oh, I got this. And Persona, the world is just open. I mean, in Persona, in Yakuza, like a dragon, the world is open. So you can do a bunch of mini games and you can do a bunch of side missions. And I turn on the game and like, okay, like I see my objective, but this old lady needs help across the street. So I'm going to go do that submission. And every submission is at least entertaining, but some of them are just so good and they're so funny, and
Some
it
are
is
also
just,
like so wacky as well. It's
dude,
just
it's like think Persona where it's not as wacky as Persona because like in Persona you're like don't you like fight God at the end or something? You fight like some
You fight a god in each of them, and I mean literally quite each of them.
yeah. So in
Dancing
Yakuza
one included.
you don't fight a god, so it's more grounded but even more wackier.
it's
So
both grounded and fantastical. It's like some things you're like, oh, that makes sense, but then other times it's like, wait, that would never happen.
Yeah,
it is so it's done so well. I love it so much.
Yeah.
which let me add on because this is kind of the point I wanted to bring up, and also like, so I'll just go ahead and say it, is that I'm a lore hound, whether you believe it or not. But like, I like to know. I watch every cutscene. I like to watch a lot of lore videos, see what I meant. We were just talking about Lisa Trevor. None of you would even have a clue that was a character, but
I
it's just
remember her. I just didn't know her name.
Who?
yeah, right. So like it's just the small things that like have dedication to them, but they clearly don't like make it a big deal because they know that there's no time for it or something like that. Like it's fun. um I like that type of stuff. Ff14 has way too much of it, but I like it too. Although again, there's like a million things you kind of have to know about certain things, and at some point I'm just like, all right, I get it. Like, cool, the bunny people come from the jungles of Gulmore. Epic. Anyway, I want to go fight this giant machine now. Have a good day. But the point is that I love that type of stuff in all kinds of games. So Yakuza has never been out of the question for me. It's just that like
You don't know where to
I'm
start, or
well, there's
Yeah.
that, and I play Kingdom Hearts, and I guess it helped that I started from the beginning, which is
Mhm.
why like I don't mind Kingdom Hearts. But it's not only I don't know where to start. It's just that like I love fantasy type games and all that, and I'm not a stranger to not playing that type of stuff.
it. I will say it's weird because, but yeah, like I said, Yakuza is grounded, but there are some parts where gets fantastical in ways, especially in 7. So the gameplay, like, so Arnie, you've only played 7, right?
Correct.
And so this is like early in games. So the gameplay in this, because previous Yakuza games are kind of like beat 'em up, where you like pick up stuff and it's like a brawler type of thing, and you can do like it's like a 3D fighting game kinda, but you just go around beating the shit out of people with bikes, and you can do like finishers on them and whatnot. But in 7, it's turn based, which was an interesting direction, and they did confirm that the future Yakuza games are all going to be turn based because they were experimenting with 7 to see if people liked it. And I haven't played it, but I've seen a lot of people play it before, and the combat looks very fun to me. So can't wait to play that in the future. But they did confirm that future games all going to be turn based, but also that the next Yakuza game is will be coming out within 6 months to a year from now.
Yeah.
So if you want to get into Yakuza, I would either recommend, if you want the turn-based combat and you just want to experience it, 7 might not be a bad one to start with because it's with a completely new character with Ichiban. If you played all the previous ones, there are references you'll get from playing the game. But if you want
who would have
everything,
guessed that?
yeah. But if you want everything, and I would recommend starting with 0 because it's a prequel to the original, and then I would say Yakuza Kiwame, which is the remake of the first, then Kiwame 2, and then 3, 4, and 5 aren't going to look as good because Yakuza Kiwame and Kiwame 2 are made from the same engine from Yakuza 6. They have their own engine called the Dragon Engine.
George, I know I said I love lore. You're really throwing it on thick for something when we should have been talking about the director or past director at this point.
I'm sorry. So basically, either you start with 7, or you go back to 0, Kiwame, Kiwame 2, and then go from the numbers after that.
I'll think about that, but I want to know a little bit more about this man right here. I got to read his name one more time. Toshihiro Nagoshi. So, looking at a picture of him, he doesn't really look that old now that I think about it. Has he?
Yeah.
He's been there since the beginning?
Yes, he has.
20 or 30 years, right?
When did the first one come out? He could pass for like a 28-year-old man.
So the original Yakuza came out in 2005. Like the first 2 games came out in 2005, 2006.
It's not that old as I thought it'd be. I thought it'd be like one of those 90 type of games, like where 3D was just becoming a thing.
No, it definitely PS2, but it's weird because in those games they had English voice acting, but it was like not very good dubbed, so it was just weird. And
Almost every Japanese translated game.
Yeah, but then after that, I think starting from 3 onward, it was all Japanese. But some of the localization wasn't as good in 3, if I remember, and I think it got better. And then the voice actors for the Japanese voice actors are very on point. But in 7, you actually can switch between Japanese or English, and I've seen people play with English on, and the voice actors in that are pretty good as well. So.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna go ahead, rein us back in where I say here. I'm just gonna read an excerpt from the article. In some clear and obvious ways, this is a blow both for the studio and the future of the series. Yakuza is Nagoshi, and Nagoshi is Yakuza. And while he had stepped back from frontline development of the series, God, I can't talk today, of the series in recent years, the game simply wouldn't be here without him. So here's my thing.
Yeah.
It's always scary when a director steps away. I want to remind people that the director of Sonic has stepped away, also from Sega. That's just the one I can remember. Mega Man director himself has stepped away. Notice that they haven't really released a lot of them, and they released 11, and it was, it was just. This is scary for when like a director is either forced out or moved out, and I say forced out because we all know what happened over with Konami. That can we be so sure it's going to be in the right hands? And you said he was to be replaced by who again?
He's being replaced by Ryuta Ueda, and he worked on the first 2 games, so he was on the original team. He left the company a decade ago, and now he's back, and he's worked on the Jet Set Radio games, if you've ever played those before. He's also worked on Sonic All-Stars Racing and whatnot, like other Sega games.
Okay, so let me ask you two Yakuza fans, almost pretty much, at least I want to hear from each of you and your thoughts, and then I want to hear from Josh. Does this instill a bit of fear into you guys? Does this make you guys a little anxious? Let me ask Ernie first. How does this kind of make you feel knowing he's like out of the picture?
I don't feel bad. I'm not worried or concerned. I don't feel like this was again, I don't know, I wasn't there, but this doesn't feel like a Konami issue where they forced Kojima out. They said a statement, they said they're leaving, they said they're going to another company, I forgot where. So whether they forced out, whether they want to leave, everything seems like it's on good terms. And I feel like these Yakuza games, again, I've only played Like a Dragon. I haven't played the other ones, but I almost feel like there's a formula. So I feel like it's going to be hard for the people to kind of radicalize it. And maybe, thinking about it, maybe they wanted to do this turn-based to see if it worked. And if it didn't work, maybe he wouldn't leave and he would stay, but it worked. So they're going to go in a different direction. If 7 Like a Dragon is like the other 6 and the next one that are coming, I think it's going to be fine.
All right. Solid answer. So that instills some trust into me. Now, George, let me ask you, what do you think of Nagoshi and Sato leaving?
They gave their statements, and it sounds like I guess they just want to move on and work on other stuff, and some type of these creatives want to work on other stuff, so can respect that. But at least it was nice of their studio, and they were gave some responses, being upfront with fans and whatnot, saying the positions and who's going to be working on like the future of like Yakuza games specifically. And I have faith. Like after what they've done with Like a Dragon, just seeing that, I think it's in good hands. Also, I actually want to correct myself because I was being an idiot. Ryuta Ueda is actually just returning to Sega and to the company because I decided to look at the PC gaming article, and apparently, so the person who's going to be head of the studio is going to be Masayoshi Yokoyama is going to be the new studio lead, and then the new director and producer will become will be Ryosuke Hiyori is going to be the director, and Hiroyuki Sakamoto they're basically going to be like the core leaders of like the games.
Well, you know what? I will say this to them if they somehow listen to this, and I don't care about my opinion. Good luck to you. This is a big
I just want to
franchise.
apologize for being stupid and not realizing this sooner, but I am
I'm sure they already disliked you. They already badmouthed you.
No, sorry. I love your games. Don't do this.
Good luck. A lot of pressure, and I sure hope they know that because Yakuza became a really beloved series. It always has been, I know, but on a wider circle, so to say, really, really fast. And let me just go ahead and ask Josh: does it instill the kind of fear? I don't want to say fear, but like kind of like worry in you that like I stated, where like when a director leaves, it can almost kill a game in of itself, or a series, or a franchise.
I'm gonna have to go on a limb and say that I agree with your fears. I haven't played any of the Yakuza games, but I hear they're really good. Obviously, George likes to talk my ear off about them.
Yeah, that's a good story. If you love Persona, like Ernie's saying, comparing it to Persona, that's a very good comparison. If you like characters and you like story, Yakuza's perfect.
Yeah, but
Marty.
Yeah.
So let me just say real fast. This is lore, and it's just a throwaway. But the reason why they went turn-based is because Ichiban, in his head, he played a lot of Dragon Quest growing up. So when he battles, he goes turn-based, and that's how it. Okay, now we're turn-based.
That's kind of cool.
How much? They gave him a lore reason for why it's turn-based.
How much did they need to pay Square Enix for that? Just to say that.
They're buddy.
As we know, back to the beginning of the episode, Square Enix is not a cheap company to talk with. Just because, again, especially when Disney becomes part of the play. So I can imagine Square Enix was just like, all right, but like, give us probably more than a couple thousand, and you can mention Dragon Quest because I don't know what the Japanese laws are, but I'm just gonna imagine that costs some money. Either way, I think that's actually a really sick fact. Now, George, if you could tell me more facts like that, that'd be great.
I actually was just gonna say that earlier, but then I think I forgot.
That's what I want to hear from you. And then I'll be like, all right, I'll start with 7. And then I've done ass backwards games. I've started with 2, didn't know what was going on. I went back. Would I like to start from 1? Yeah. But like when you already have 7 in your title, I'm already kind of past the point of caring about starting at 1.
Well, it's not officially 7, right? It's like a dragon. It's not officially numbered.
Well, I thought we were talking about turn-based in 7.
Yakuza 7 is like a
It
dragon.
is like a dragon? Oh, I thought that was an
Yes.
official Yakuza
Yeah.
7.
This is the first turn-based, and anything future will be turn-based. But if you really want lore, I would highly recommend start with 0. It's very good. It's also different gameplay, so you can see the jump eventually when you get to 7. But
you know what? I had a great podcast idea. We're just gonna one day just do an episode where we each talk about a series we want other people to play, and let's just see how that goes. But
I love it.
I think on that note, we do have to call it a night or an episode. Sorry, I gotta remember not everyone's gonna listen to this at night. Call it an episode. So everyone, give your send off. So George, I'll throw it to you first.
play Yakuza. That's all. Start from 0 or go 7, but go 0.
I hope you know how to count. Everybody listening, Josh, go ahead.
Howdy again. I mean, goodbye. It's me, your boy. I'm just here. I don't know anything about Yakuza. I'm sorry.
Hey, you know about Kingdom Hearts. We talked about that. Remember?
Oh yeah, I remember.
Oh, spin off. They also made Judgment and Lost Judgment sequels.
Hey, you're not supposed to talk anymore, George.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
This is my send off, and you're ruining it. Now I don't have a send off anymore.
Good job, George. You had one job. I already said we were going to do an episode where we talk about our series, man.
I have too many series to talk about.
Well, you better pick just one, because that we're just going to have to give you your own episode. And Ernie, I hope you're ready to just record him. You don't even need to talk with him. He'll go off. Trust me.
I can do that.
I've sat in a room with him plenty of times.
All you gotta do is nod or be like, yeah. And he'll continue.
All right. Ernie, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't care what Marty said. You go to bed right now. Shut off the podcast. Go to sleep.
You happen to be listening to this in the morning while making toast? Too bad. Go back to bed.
Too bad.
Too bad. Rest of your day, gone. Just don't even think about it anymore. And this is Marty saying, I hope you get at least plenty of sleep. If it's more than 12 hours, well, that's a different conversation. But thanks for listening. Really do appreciate it. If you're listening to this on YouTube, please subscribe, leave a comment, give us a like. Again, a comment would be nice, asking us what we'd like to talk, or what you would like to hear us talk about at some point, maybe. And if you're listening on Facebook, share it, give a like as well, comment on there. Tell your grandma about it, share it to everyone in the world. But this has been Marty. Thank you for listening to Cheap Chumps Podcast, and have a great day.
Or night.
Yeah.